Hello guys, welcome to Solving Solutions. So in today's tutorial, we are going to perform accuracy assessment on our land cover classification. So it gives you the confusion matrix, which is a table that is used to evaluate the performance of the classification model by comparing what you have actually predicted, that's what you've classified, against actual or maybe real, let's say ground data or field data, right? Good. So we have the land cover of 2025. And then we are also going to come up with a base map of this is 2026, right? Good. However, the base map will be very close, so the land use and the land cover will be very close. So we are now going to create a new shapefile for the different classes. We have about 4 classes here. Okay, 3: water body, built up, and vegetation, right? Good. Then we are now going to use the new shapefile that we have created alongside this our prediction to now get what the accuracy, the level of accuracy of our prediction. So of our classification rather. So we come to layer, create layer, new shapefile layer. So we are going to browse. So let's call that samples, right? And then the geometry type will be a polygon. And then the CRS will be projected, because that's the CRS of the land cover data. So that's something you also need to check. And then let's give it a new field called name. Now in this your samples data that you're trying to create, that's a shapefile, you should make sure that it has a field that has integer as the data type. If QGIS has not automatically given ID and then the data type of the ID to be integer, I would have created a new field called ID. So in that field, it's where we are now going to store the numbers assigned to each land use, right? So now for water body we have 1, for built up we have 2, for vegetation we have 3. So when we digitize built up area, we give it ID 2. When we digitize water body, we give it ID 1, and then when we digitize vegetation, we give it ID 3. As we proceed, you are going to see it. So this is something to note. We are not creating a new field for the ID because there's already a field for ID whose data type is what? Integer type, right? Good, it's integer. And then we click on OK. Now we have created that shapefile, a vector data. So let's turn off our land cover data. So we know that these areas are actually built up areas, right? So we can just decide to, digitize somewhere around there. So this is the ID. For built up, it is 2. So we give it 2. And then we can rightly call it the built up area. The name is not of so much importance in the accuracy assessment. What is important is the ID, because it is the ID versus ID that it uses for the accuracy assessment. So this is also a built up area. So the reference data we are going to use should be quite recent. So we are still using 2 because it's a built up area, and then those 2 sample points should be enough for us. Then we come to still within our project area. This is water body, right? So we also digitize the water body here. Water body is 1, so we can call this water body. Okay, so this is another water. Okay, ensure you click on that. So water body is 1. So we call that water body. So we click on OK. So let's pick a few vegetations. This place is actually a vegetated area, so we can pick this as vegetation, and vegetation is 3, right? So we assign 3, and then we can just call this VG. Then maybe let's move to somewhere else where we can see. You should ensure that the sample points you are picking, they are all within your project area, right? Okay, 3 and vegetation. So we click on OK. So we've gotten enough. You can get more if you want. You can leave it as this fewer sample points or sample polygons if you also want. Now the next thing is for us to bring in the semi-automatic classification plugin, where we have the post-processing, right? So you click on the SCP and then you scroll down to post-processing, and then you select accuracy. So when the accuracy window is open, for the input on the accuracy assessment, select the classification to assess. So sometimes you refresh for it to load all the data you have there. So we are looking at the LULC of 2025, and then select the reference vector or raster, which means this reference data can be a vector data or a raster data. So if it's a vector data, it must have a field. That's that 1, 2, 3 that we were emphasizing the other time. And then if it's also a raster, it must have the same field for the land use classes as you have inside of your classification raster. So we refresh, we use the drop down, and then we have our samples, right? And then you see now that automatically that field ID has been selected to populate this vector field, because it contains those integer values, right? So use no data value as 0. We do not even have no data value in our classification raster, so we would not pay much attention to that. So we can run. Okay, so we have assessment underscore 2025, and then we click on save. Okay, so we have an output. The output also creates an Excel file here alongside the assessment raster. So if we open this spreadsheet, that's the assessment underscore 2025. Good. So this is the output. Let's maximize all of this. So this is the error matrix. One is for, this is the reference, and then this is the classified, right? Now the other matrix that is important, as all are important, is your overall accuracy, which is 94, quite good, very, very good. The kappa classification 0.9, which is very close to 1. This is a legend that describes some of these acronyms that are here. So basically we have shown you how to use QGIS, having performed your land use land cover classification, to also have an accuracy assessment. This is the result that we just saw on the spreadsheet. To also have an accuracy assessment of whatever result or whatever classification you have carried out, to tell you the degree of should I say accuracy or confidence of that your classification. So we are going to see you on another one. Until then, keep staying safe and have a fantastic time. Bye.